folks, how you going? Skypilot here. Welcome to my channel. I've got some terrific little white boxes here from my very awesome friends at BETAFPV. What we have here is the much anticipated ELRS or Express LRS modules and receivers. Lots of goodies here today, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly run through exactly what this gear is all about. I'm going to have a look at the text and specs, show you guys how to do your binding, show you guys how to set up your Express LRS TX module here, and have a general chit chat and let you know what's going on with these parts. Should be good. I have used this equipment already, as I like to have a bit of a test first before I do any reviews. What exactly is Express LRS? It is an open source radio communications system. It's basically like your Crossfire, the old faithful TBS Crossfire. It is an open source new kit on the block, and of course we will also talk about our Nano Receiver, which is pretty much the exact same size as your TBS Crossfire, however it has slightly small antennas. Now, you guys have probably seen the Light Radio 2 SE transmitter already. This is no different, however, no different in appearance. However, if you look at it via the BETAFPV configuration app, you will see that this is now internally equipped with Express LRS, so that you can bind it with your whoops and anything else you wish. Completely configurable, programmable, just like your big radios. So that's a really neat little addition. If you do go down the ELRS and purchase one of these whoops with it, then this is the radio for you. I will do a separate review on this, but I'm just letting you guys know that the Light Radio 2 SE is ELRS equipped now. So we shall just leave that aside for now. So when you purchase your TX model, I have the white one here. We'll just crack it open, get it out of the bag. So this is available in different frequencies. So I have the 2.4 gig here. It is available in 915 megahertz and 868 megahertz as well. In the box you get your TX module user manual, which is fairly comprehensive. It lets you know about binding and updating the firmware, etc. You get a omnidirectional antenna, and you also get a directional antenna as well, which is pretty neat. They are SMA connectors on here. This is a 500 milliwatt version. At the time of recording this, BETAFPV announced a black version, which is 1 watt. On the side here there is a USB-C port for updating your firmware, which I will show you guys shortly on the configurator. There have been some mention of the USB-C not being adequate, but if you're like me and you have loads of USB-Cs, then you're not going to have an issue getting that in there whatsoever. XT30 plug here if you wish to save power on your radio and want to power this up independently. BETAFPV do recommend that you do not go any higher than a 2S, so don't use a 3S, otherwise you might start frying the internals. A built-in fan which automatically turns on once you hit 250 milliwatts or above. Has a nice little screen here with a nice little toggle joystick. At this stage the firmware allows this joystick to be used by basically pressing it. You don't use the up, down, left, right functions yet, but that will be coming up. I'm using the old trusty Radio Master TX16S Max. So as you can see, it plugs in the back here exactly the same as your Crossfire does. Nice click. We shall turn it on.
Welcome to OpenTX.
In a second I'll jump over to the configurator and I'll show you guys where to update your Lua script. So when it comes on, it has this nice cayenne color there. You can change that by long pressing the button. and this is where you push the button to go down to change your packet rate, TLM ratio, your power. That's on RGB, which is cyan, so long press that. We can go blue, white, red, green, pink, yellow, purple, back to cyan. I shall set mine on 500 milliwatts, and we are good to go. Like I said before, you need to make sure that you have updated your LRS script on your radio, and from here this is where you do your binding if you wish to do it from the LRS script, or you can actually go on the back here and basically click down to where it says bind, long press it, and I'll show you how to do that shortly, because what I'm going to do is get my Nano Receiver and I'm going to hook it up to my Eachine X220 here, and I'm going to see how far we can get with the 220 with the ELRS system on. Let's jump over to the configurator and I'll show you guys how to update the firmware. What you're going to need to do, guys, is go over to the BETAFPV Express LRS from GitHub. I will leave a link down below as it can be quite tricky to find. You need to go over to code and you need to download the zip file for the github.com Express LRS. This is the update file. The link will take you guys straight there. Once you've done that, open up your Beta Express LRS configurator. The time of recording, the version was 1.2.4. It may be different now. Once you have downloaded that, you would be presented with, it's quite an easy interface to use here. This is where you update your receiver firmware, etc. I'll go through that in a separate video. So what you need to do is you need to go over to local, and then you need to go to the SRC folder of the download that you have just downloaded from the Express LRS GitHub website. So once you've chosen that, go up to BETAFPV 2.4 gig and make sure you select not TX, make sure you select TX Micro. Okay, and this is where you can download the LRS script and then copy it straight onto the SD card of your radio, and this is also where you do your binding phrases if you wish to do so. I've decided not to, so I can pair it up with some other LRS equipment which doesn't allow me to put binding phrases in, so I'm just leaving it blank for the time being. Now, everything else here I have basically left the same. I haven't touched it. So what you need to do is to build and flash. You can build your firmware, or I prefer to do a build and a flash. So once you have plugged in your USB-C, you'll see the lights all flash. Hear the fan going, and then you select your target, which is COM9, and you hit that build and flash. And it is as simple as that, guys. Now, should you have to put the wrong firmware on, which I have done a couple of times, I have put on pre-release dates, etc., it will turn on and you won't have anything on the screen down here. It'll be completely blank. But don't worry, go to that website that I've just showed you and reflash it with the firmware that it is supplying on that website, and I guarantee you will get it back to factory, which is what you're looking at here. It's nice they put on the ELRS 2.4 gig on the back so you know what it is, and it is a really nice fit. It's not loose at all, and the connecting points all join up really well, and it's just plugs in nice and easily like that, and is a really nice fit. There will be new updates coming soon, but like I keep saying, at the time of recording this is what we're working with, and it seems to work really well.
Welcome to OpenTX.
So once you've updated your firmware, should you need to, it's basically exactly the same as your Crossfire Really easy to bind. I will show you how to bind it with my Nano Receiver on the X220 very shortly, in the next couple of moments. But yeah, we are good to go, and we have Express LRS on our Meteor, which is really cool. I will do a full flight of my ELRS on the Meteor 75. That will be a separate video, as I'm not going to pack it into this one, but this is a fabulous little unit, this thing here. I already had a fly. This thing here rips. Really good VTX range, and with that ELRS system, yeah, this can go a long way outdoors. Make sure you keep an eye out for that video. It should be good. I will mention, you may have seen this module on the market also. They are both basically exactly the same. This is for use in your other smaller radios. Both have exactly the same output and the same features. It's just that with this new one here, you can stick it straight into the module bay of your radio. Anything that supports OpenTX, and you are good to go. This is the Express LRS Nano Receiver, and as you can see, it is tiny. It's the same size as your Crossfire receiver, and it has a smaller antenna as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook that up to my X220 and see if she can bind, and I'll show you how to bind it really easily and get this thing flying with the new ELRS receiver. Quick overview on the build quality of this Micro-TX module. I know early pre-release editions were a bit flimsy, but I can guarantee you this is really nice. Strong tabs here. Build quality is really strong. I have used this button a lot. It hasn't failed me at all. The fan is quite quiet. We'll have a quick look inside. It's a matter of undoing the two top screws, and we can see all the components. I will put a high def picture up there if you guys have a look at. If you're interested, you can see that fan there. The module is behind on the other side of the board for the transmitter. They keep it there so that it can stay nice and cool. The build quality looks pretty decent in there. And back together. And I know they have also recently addressed the USB-C connecting issue as well, so that it's flush with the fascia there. Let's hook up the Nano RX receiver here to my Eachine, and let's get the ELRS going on my X220. The ELRS receiver here, this is the BETAFPV, as I said, 2.4 gig. It does have a bind button. However, I'll show you guys the easiest way to bind this that I've found without hooking it up or doing the Wi-Fi bounding or any of that hoo-ha. Even plugging into Betaflight with your bind commands, I'll show you a much easier way, which is really cool. And you can do it out in the field too. GVTR, so ground your voltage, your transmit and your receive. So the T goes to the R on the flight controller, and the R goes to the T on the flight controller. I won't finish fitting it completely. I have soldered it up. It's ready to go. So I'll just show you guys now what you do to bind it. So turn your radio on with your ELRS, with your ELRS module in the rear. Long press the button and press it down to bind, and then select bind. And then what you do is you power this up 3 times. So you go beep, beep, beep. So pull the 60 out, pull out your connector 3 times, and your receiver has automatically gone into bind mode. You then press the bind button, wait for a couple of moments, and then you will see your telemetry on the front here. You'll see the flashing blue light go from a slow flash to constant, and you'll get your telemetry on your radio. It's as simple as that, guys. So power up your radio, turn your quad on and off 3 times, 1, 2, 3 doesn't need to be long, just long enough for the blue light to flash on your ELRS Beta FPV receiver, and 3 times will get you into bind mode. Select bind, wait a couple of moments, and you'll see your telemetry and you're good to go. And you then go on to Betaflight and just double check things are all set up correctly, and we should be pretty close to getting up in the sky. And there we have it, guys, successfully installed. Just cable tied to the arm there of the 220, my ELRS receiver, bound it, and looks like all systems go. So what I'm going to do now, take it out in the field, have a fly, and see how this ELRS receiver performs on my 220. Should be good. Okay, straight out to the field as promised, guys. So let's check out this ELRS receiver and have a look at some link quality and see how she performs on my X220. I've just got a 1500 milliamp 4SC on the roof. This is my first flight with the ELRS system, so I just want to just take it easy and have a look and see what sort of figures I'm going to get. Okay, goggles are recording. Let's check out this Beta FPV ELRS system. I do have a small antenna, directional antenna on my ELRS module. And I'm fairly certain my VTX is going to disappear long before my radio disappears. And let's finish off with a bit of line of sight. Yeah, quick plug of the X220. This Eachine is awesome. Yeah, the ELRS receiver on here, well, yeah, what can you say? Seems to be working really well. Can't complain about it at all. Big thumbs up. BETAFPV ELRS. When I get somewhere where I can fly a long way away, I'll test it out compared to the Crossfire, but I think it's going to be more than adequate. And for the entry level price, that's really good. You can't go wrong. I've got some links down below where you can pick up the receiver and also the TX module as well. So check them out, guys. As you saw, really easy to use, easy to set up. Nice open source system, easy to use. And it's just going to be getting better and better, I feel. Good stuff. Drop us a comment, folks. Thumbs up, absolutely. Plenty more to come. See you next time. Bye for now.